I have just this moment blocked the last few stragglers left in my life who don't have any value and they don't respect my time or me, you know? It's quite interesting. If you go back a few years ago, family was absolutely everything to me. And I went above and beyond for everybody. You know, if anybody needed me at any moment, I'd be there helping them. And as time goes on, you see each person for who they are and what they bring to your life, but more importantly, what they don't bring to your life. Slowly but surely, I've been holding people accountable. I watch very, very um, precisely. And I see the flaws and I see the lack of connection. Effectively, people seem to be comfortable watching me struggle, even though they're fully aware of it. And I'm someone who puts up with abuse or lack of respect. So, of course, like any family, you're going to have people you favor more than others, people maybe you've got a deeper connection to. So you try to have a bit more grace, you try to give them more time. And then eventually you have to make a decision. One way or another, you have to make a decision. So there's been a couple of extra people that I've just been, you hope they do the right things in life. You hope they have the right morals, but start to realize they're corrupted. And eventually it's time to take action. Now, this is about me saying I'm all self-righteous and things like that. I just know what I've done over my lifetime for people. I know the life I intend to live. And I know what people are like. So, like, anyone on the outside might think I'm quite ruthless. Perhaps I am. But it's through persistent situations, you know. This isn't just like a one-off. I'm not that harsh. So someone might think, well, you could just do this, you could do that. Believe me, I've had that my whole life. You could do this, you could do that. Like, I'm always the one that's expected more of than those around me. Well, how's that fair? Just because I have a high potential, perhaps. I'm intelligent. I'm articulate. I have strengths and qualities. But it's funny how it's almost a given or expected that I have the moral high ground and others can do lower vibration activities. They cannot invest in you. They can disrespect you at times. But it's always like there's more expected of you in the situation, though. And it's like, no, 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 no. They're just as accountable as I am here. And like I say, there's a couple of people you try to give a little bit of benefit of the doubt. You think, you know, but then in the end, it's just like, I'm more than comfortable traversing this world alone. Like, I'm more than comfortable with it. I don't need an army behind me. I'm good. I'd rather have myself than be stuck surrounded by people who are only there to leech off me. And I think it is quite sad, isn't it, that we don't have the community I think that we desire. In a previous video, I did mention the fact that I feel like I'm a puzzle piece to a puzzle that I haven't even come across yet. So effectively, I know people have their angles and their opinions on maybe what's right and what's wrong, and the fact that you maybe should give people more time. I'm 42 years old. I think people have had long enough. If you talk about family, they've had my whole life. How much time do they need? It's outrageous. Really, really, it's outrageous, isn't it? But some people just think like people can abuse you because they're family. It's like, that's fine. And that's the part that I think is a bit damaging to most people. Really, is they put up with things because they're terrified of permanent repercussions if they stand on their own. But the thing is, if people are not with you, then what's the point of having them? So, like, my life's been hard, and I've well documented. I've spoke quite openly about the fact that my life is a struggle a lot of the time, and it seems to me that people seem comfortable to watch that struggle, and I just think that's quite morbid myself, but that's just the way I see it. Again, I don't need anyone to be my saviour. Don't worry, I'll get out of whatever situation I'm in. I will always find a way out of it. Life will always turn around. I'm too persistent. And I'm not a stupid person. I'm intelligent. So there's never a lack of confidence in self. people might see it as arrogance, but then how the hell can anyone ever be confident if they're always going to be accused of arrogance? It's like, where's the difference? Ultimately, there's always going to be an accusation, isn't there? But the reality is, what I do doesn't hurt anybody. I might talk some truths and maybe it upsets them a little bit. But me walking away from a situation or a person, it shouldn't really come as a surprise when people have just let you down time and time again, should it? And it seems to me that when you finally set the wheels in motion to invest in yourself and people can't come on that journey, maybe at that point they might feel sorry for themselves and maybe reflect and think, perhaps I should have tried a bit more. It's all shoulda, woulda, couldas. What I do isn't impulsive. It's calculated, and over time, it's just that finally there's just like one straw that finally snaps, and it's like, that's enough straws. Doesn't matter who you were, you've had long enough. So effectively, it's damaging because it's been persistent. So yeah, I'm more than comfortable like traversing my life alone. But it's a bit sad that the puzzle pieces, I haven't found that puzzle yet that fits me with it. But the thing is, if I keeping myself in these other places where I know full well I don't fit, I've never have, what's that supposed to do for me in my lifetime? You're just something comfortable for other people, but you don't feel happy? You don't feel fulfilled? And it's those same people that just watch you suffer day in, day out. Well, how is that respectful? And look, you can put this down to finances, and sometimes it is a financial thing, but it's not. I see things as a value of time as well. And like I said, if you see someone struggling, how could you, in good conscience, just watch that happen? Out of some morbid fascination of maybe how they're going to get through it. Because I'm a strong, resilient person, so maybe people are fascinated by my next move. Like, what will he do next? And I wonder if he overcomes that. This isn't a freaking soap opera. It's real life. You know, again, I don't need someone to be my savior, but don't expect me to be yours. That's the thing. I'm not going to be sticking knight in shining armor to people who are never mine. I'm not a fool. I'm not a selfish person either. So if I value you, I'll go to the end of the earth. But I will keep my eyes open. And I'll go to the end of the earth for a period. And then when I've finally made a judgment, that support may stop. And it's justified. Like I say, even if we just go to my books, for instance, we just go to the books, because look, anyone in my family, had they done something similar, you can bet your ass I would have bought the books. Even if I weren't particularly interested, I would have bought them to support. That's what I would do. You do something significant, I'll support that. Not one person, well, actually, it's not one. My mum and a friend of hers have bought all my books. Like, the friend genuinely likes my books, and they like the audio books as well. And I'm like, that's interesting, because most other people don't even know they exist or are not interested. So that's actually really nice, because that person doesn't have to do that, and they're not doing it to really appease my mum. They're always like, if there are another books coming out, they'd like to read it because they like the other ones. I thought, well, that's nice. But what that also shows is the lack of support from others who you would think are a bit more natural. You'd think that would be more natural for others to help. So if they're not helping, it means they're against, surely. So it's almost like they're trying to sabotage success. Well, why would you try to sabotage my success? And the part that really I find stupid, because they're greedy people, like I'm talking about family members here, they're very self-serving and very greedy and lazy for the most part. The sad part is, had I been successful a few years ago, I would have shared, like even if it's wealth, I would have shared it with all of them. Like literally, I'm not a selfish individual. I don't need more wealth than I can handle. I would have helped people. And because they're family, like other people probably do, I'd have had them on like a bit of a pedestal, and I felt obliged to help them through everything. Now, these are really important life lessons, because I wouldn't give them a penny now, like genuinely. You can't watch someone suffer at the very bottom, and then as soon as they're doing well for themselves, expect to take from them. That's really, the balance isn't right. So the way I see it is, I'm not here to be other people's savior in that sense. Yeah, people I genuinely respect and who have gone above and beyond for me, I won't forget that. Absolutely. My mum has been my saviour for a long time. Like, she's been the one I can confide in, the one that supports me when she can, and when I need it. And that's never, ever going to be forgotten. Never, ever. So, top of my list of people I'll help, no matter what. like literally undivided attention. Others, not so much, or never. So yeah, so there's no point people giving me a pity party in the future when I've been through what I've been through. Lifetimes of suffering in a single lifetime. So when someone goes through something, maybe it's tough. I'm not going to give them a whole spiel and overcome that and try and give them a pep talk and encourage them. It's like, I'll just leave them to it. That's your lesson to work your way through. That's for you to overcome it, not expect everyone to just be your savior and fix everything for you. It's part of a life lesson. Maybe you're being humbled. Maybe it's your time to actually go through some things and figure your way out of that now. And just because I've been through it and can get through things, it's like people think you got the code or the key. Oh, well, they can help me get through this. Give me a wise word. Give me a bit of encouragement. No, encourage yourself. Encourage yourself. Again, I know it's going to seem spiteful, and perhaps in some ways it is, but I don't consider it that way because I'm not doing it out of spite. I'm doing it out of closing a door of those who've disrespected me, and I don't see why I should keep that door ajar. Just in the profound like situation that someone needs you in a given moment, that all of a sudden now I'm valuable to you, am I? But he's more than happy to watch me suffer, you know. So the last two people, for instance, I've already spoke quite openly about everybody in my family. The last two really were my brother and nephew, or my half brother and nephew, if you're going to be too specific. And like my half brother, my brother's has had bit of a jealousy to me, even when I have nothing. It's always this weird nagging jealousy that he has. My nephew's always wayward, so one minute he might be look like he's got potential, the next minute he's just like falling backwards into like addictions and all sorts of shit. So he's done drugs, he likes drinking. Maybe not within heart, you wouldn't say really in dangerous amounts and quantities, but the fact you know those things go on, you don't know the depths of it, do you? You know, you only know what they show, you're seeing. But then he goes into other things, you know, where he gets really selfish. So he can seem selfless sometimes. He might help people, but the other side of him is incredibly selfish. And it's like that's what I'm saying. You see the good in him, but you also see the bad. And I've tried my best to give him as long as possible. I think that's why I've given my brother a bit of an extended time, because by extension, his son. So I have see a lot of potential in him, and he may still do great things in this life. But it's not for me to bear witness to it at the end of the day. You know, I can't keep waiting around for people. He's old enough, you know, to make his own decisions, and he's been very, very like over the past year or so, he's been incredibly selfish, and he had his moments as well before that. And it's just I can't keep watching on and waiting for things to improve. You know, I don't expect it off people, but when they watch you struggle and they feel comfortable in that, I think that I just consider it morbid. Like I'm not expecting everyone to be my savior, but like I think just showing some compassion would be a good start. And the fact there's no compassion means that my interest has gone because it was the final nail in the coffin. You know, this isn't, again, I'm trying to make that clear. It's not just one thing, it's a culmination. It's showing me your moral compass. What would I do in that situation? What do other people actually do in that situation? And then saying, we're not aligned at all. Like, we're not the same people here. We're not similar. Our values are completely off. So, and even if it's self-imposed, I talk about it a lot. My finances are absolutely ridiculous. Like, so it's really stressful. And you know, we all have stresses in life. For me, right now, the finances are the things that are stressing me every day. Every day I wake up trying to figure out how the hell this month's going to come together. And that's genuine, you know. There's just not enough money to pay all the bills. I'm trying my best to juggle it in my mind, and I'm an intelligent person, so I sort of like, you know, I'm not trying to say I'm the most intelligent person on the planet, but I'm intelligent enough to sort of like analyze and be analytical, you know, and just see all the pieces and which one's a priority. The ramifications of this one being missed, which goes on to next month, which means that maybe there's an added fee. But in the same time, you're thinking there might be a breakthrough somewhere in my finances. If we can just get through this month, we'll deal with next month. You know, it might seem like you're just knocking the situation down the road. In some ways, you are, but you're hoping for like a breakthrough at some point. You can't struggle forever. Perhaps you can, but I don't really believe that's so. So I'm quite optimistic about my future, and I recognise at any moment of any day, everything can change. Doesn't have to be huge, significant change, but a breakthrough nevertheless. So I'm quite pragmatic like that. So I know I can overcome anything on my own. I don't need anyone to inspire me in that way. Already doing it. I've been through enough hardship in my life, and I'm still here. I'm still resilient. I'm still strong, and I'm still strong enough that I can assert my own dominance in my life, and I'm not weak enough to have people around me who had no value or substance to my life at all. I don't need that shit. So if people are going to get funny or like offended when you finally say enough's enough, that's really their problem. It's not mine. I don't care. So recently, my brother and my nephew stayed overnight in my home because my brother needed a medical appointment, which I promised. I didn't promise, but I said if I can take you, I will. It was a pain in the ass. It was miles out of the way, like really far. But he doesn't drive, and I think this is that accountability thing. You've had your whole life to drive. You're older than me. Like he's a couple of years older than me, so you can't keep relying on people like this all the time. This is ridiculous. But yeah, if I'm available, I'll do it. But I'm not holding my life up. So if an opportunity comes and I need to be somewhere, that's not my problem. I made that clear. But as it was leading up to this appointment, I was like, right, I'll take you. And then if anything comes up in the interim, I'll say, like, I'm taking you to your appointment either way. And that's what I was like. And that's what I do. So my brother and my nephew come, and my brother wanted to stay the night because he didn't want to miss the appointment. He wanted to make sure everything goes to plan. That's fine. Met him at the train station, brought him to my house, took him to their appointment. They was supposed to just come back to mine to the train station because it's easier for me. It was like a long day anyway. I don't want to do it. It's a lot of driving. But I was kind enough to take him home. You know, I said, do you want a train station or do you want me to just take you home? You know, because, either way I'm driving. Adds another hour or so to my trip. It's long enough in a car, isn't it? So, we do that. And he does cover the petrol, fair play to him. So it's not like, didn't contribute anything. But I just feel there's no value of my time. That's the thing. Like, it's fine. I do an act of kindness. Rarely does anyone ever do an act of kindness for me, by the way. But it's the fact that they watch. It's even worse for me personally, this. It shows there's not a lack of ignorance, but there's a lack of humility. It's because they recognised. So at that moment, I was really struggling. Even they were complaining about the milk. My milk had been about, I think, like 10 days old. But my fridge, for some reason, preserves shit. So I don't care. Like if I don't care by the date. If it smells funny, yeah, throw it. If it's freaking gone weird, like you've got lumps or something, that's gone way too far. You've missed the smell test. But that's fine. What I mean? I think some people are a bit too pompous. I'm not above myself. If it's safe to drink, if it's safe to consume, it's safe. The date doesn't. Date's just a suggestion. Well, not on everything, of course, but for me, the milk, it's a suggestion. So it was fine for a drink, like if you're hot drink, if you want coffee or tea or whatever. And they were getting funny about that. And then they could see I didn't really have a lot of food. Like my cupboards were like bare, but really, really empty, like, not what it usually is. So I've had to go to the shop. The reason my nephew come is he wanted to sell some things and trade into this store. And he got £100 more than he was supposed to get because they mislabeled something. I wasn't aware of any of this. Me and my brother were just walking around. My nephew took care of it. And my nephew's, well, he knew straight away, apparently, because he told me straight after. And he thought it was cheeky. I'm not saying what the right or wrong thing to do is. The companies make enough money anyway. But I'm just saying. So bear in mind, he owed my brother £30. And he's just made an extra £100 out of that he didn't expect to get anyway. He got more than enough from those trade-ins. And so my brother just made a point to him, like, you owe me £30. And he snapped so fast at him. My nephew just snapped at him and said, I told you I'll give you it when I get this other money or something. Well, I straight away thought, well, that's a bit weird. Like, you owe him £30. You just gained £100 out of thin air that you shouldn't have even got. And you can't even have decent... You know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. He's morally corrupt at the moment. I don't really like who he's becoming. He may have his good days, but he certainly has his bad. But for me, it was more a case of if I was in their situations, what would I do? I'm not a selfish person, Like, I know it's easy to say that, but I'm not. I have a lot of compassion in me, and I will help people where I can. Because money to me is just money. Unless I've got, like, if you've got something specific that you'd need, or that's different. But for me, I've never really had this deep attachment to money. There was to put it into context before. I don't want to digress too far because I'll probably lose my train of thought. Now, people might say there was probably attraction to someone, and that's why he did it. It was nothing to do with that at all. That doesn't make me do things. There was a girl at a job I did. She worked part-time. This was at a DIY store we used to work at. I worked nights, but I was full-time. I lived with my parents. I got good pay. It was a good paying job considering what my outlay was, So, I had the luxury of living with my parents. You make me be paying something towards rent, but it wasn't really a lot. And I had money for myself. So I've got like this. To put it into context, actually, I've still got this now. But I've got an iPod Classic. Um, I don't. I had. I think I had one. I had one before this, and I think later on I probably sold it for some reason, and I bought this when they discontinued them. But to put that into context, I was able to buy myself whatever I want. This was £179 back in 2009. I don't know what the other model was I had. I think it's a smaller model, but probably similar price. Context. Now, this person, they absolutely love music. They go. This is what I'm saying. It's not about attraction because their lifestyle's different to me. It's not like I would ever consider a relationship with them. They were too wild for me. We're different people. They like to go into those festivals all the time, and I'm sure they do a bit of dabble in a bit of drugs and stuff. It's harmless, but it's like, that's not me though, So there's no point even thinking for a moment that could ever be a relationship with two totally different different pods. But they were nice people. They were friendly. They were good. They were a good person. And they love music. And like another friend, they're a female friend that I used to help take home as well. Because this is the thing, I'm protective of people. And this isn't about, okay, I was attracted to that person. I'd admit that. And they knew I was attracted to them, but it wasn't. But it was still more. It was still went beyond that. It was more their safety. I don't like the idea people don't get home safe. So I used to go. I used to go. Anyway, I used to go above and beyond for this other person, taking them home. And for me, it was like I ain't really got a lot to do anyway. For me, it was like it was nice as well having the company and just driving around. So that was fine. But anyway, so we visited this one, and she had a flat and she was only working part time, so she didn't have a lot in her flat. She was younger than me. And I felt, it's not I've been feeling completely sorry for someone, but I just thought, bloody hell, her life's hard. She has a hard life. And so I went out of my way. She was at work because I work nights. So she was at work and I went to a local store. I bought an iPod. I think it was an iPod Nano. It weren't the full iPod I've got. It was like a thinner one. I still think it's about £100, maybe £100, yeah, £100, 100. I'm sure it's 129 now. Think about it, because I knew it was a bit expensive. £129, I guess. Not a big deal. Something like, let's say back then, maybe it was 2 days' pay, 2 nights' pay, or something. Not a big deal to me. It's money. I make more. So I bought an iPod Nano, and I was picking her up because I was just taking her home. It wasn't too far, but again, it was the shift time she finished. It's getting dark. I don't ever want that on my conscience that I could help someone and something happens to him and I could have helped. Especially when I was younger, it's almost like this Batman complex. I think I was like that when I was younger. I always help people where I can. So she got in the car, and I was like, here, and it was an iPod. And she actually eventually she went backpacking, like went different countries. She went to Australia. She said she lost it down the toilet or something. Good knows what she was doing. But this was years later. And she took it on all her adventures and all sorts, and that was nice. And she was like obviously flabbergasted that I'd buy her but I think people think more of something than maybe it is to you. To me, it was just money can be replaced. It's like I knew it was going to make her happy, and that's what it did. So that's literally what I have in me. I have a lot of compassion for the people who I think deserve things. Like, they were kind, they were nice to talk to, and their life was hard. And I recognise something that's it's not that significant to me, like in terms of like the money, the happiness it brings. That's all it is. I know people have their own little, because people always accuse you based on their morals. If they're really, really deceptive and manipulative, they'll assume you are. I don't care what narrative people put around that. That was just because I wanted to make them smile. Their life was hard, and I think they deserve something nice. For me, what's the alternative for me? I treat myself to more shit. I was buying crap for no reason half the time anyway. I had CDs constantly coming through the door. I was buying all sorts of shit, video games, movies. If it weren't that, I would have wasted it on something else. So it's like, there's no point like going overly righteous on it and saying, oh, it's like, the money would have got spent on something else. And it's all stuff that's meaningless. It didn't really bring me over like too much joy. And look how happy they were. And because I recognised they would never have one. Based on the way they were at that moment, when would they ever be able to afford it? So that I wanted them to have something nice. I'm not here trying to walk around as a saint here. It's just, I have a moral compass. So fast forward, I don't know when that was. Was that 20? It's probably 2005 or something crazy, Because my daughter was born 2010. She's 15 now. So time is quite crazy how it moves forward, isn't it? Might have the dates wrong. It might be 2008. I really don't know. Around them periods. Probably more 2008, I guess. But yeah. Anyway, so now we're in 2025. Time moves forward. Life catches up with us. It gets a bit stressful. Yeah, it's hard for me. So, like, who does acts of kindness for me? Like, a genuinely kind, above and beyond, just because they want to be nice. Like, what's their character? What's deep in their soul? Selfishness. They're literally, there's no compassion. So I'm walking around the shop and I'm struggling just with anything. I've literally got bare minimum. I can't be indulgent. I'm just buying the basics. I'm buying beans. I'm buying bread. I'm buying milk, potatoes, things that literally I know like these are the essentials. And I'm not even being extravagant. It's like one milk. Actually, I ended up buying two, I think, because I needed milk desperately. Because I can cope with little, but as long as I've got milk for some reason. Anyway, so I bought one bread. No, it was one milk, one bread, and then one potato, and then a few tins of beans, and then I can't remember what the other items were. Oh, a pack of donuts because I've desperately wanted something nice for myself. But I've got my brother and my nephew with me. They both sold some things. One got more than they planned to get. I don't know if they got the money at that point, so I can't say too much. But they could have easily like watching me struggle and knowing how tight it was, and knowing I live alone. So there's no savior for me. There's no savior for me. If I'm struggling at home, I'm struggling at home. No second income. So that was what that was. And that wasn't long ago. It was like last week, I think. And they're watching me struggle. And even if, like, for instance, my nephew hadn't got that windfall beforehand, he could have. I'm not asking to hand over all the like loads. Even just anything, like £5, £10. It's not a lot of money. That's just a nice gesture. At least it shows you care. At least shows they know you need it. You know. And it's like, because you can get with nothing, when you've got barely anything, even just a little gives you a lot. It can give you what you need, the essentials. For me, it shows that they're more than comfortable knowing you're struggling. They're more than comfortable knowing it's going to be really hard for you while they're extravagant at their end. That's just your moral compass. It's fine. I'm not expecting it. And I'm never disappointed in that regard, am I? But my brother, this is where I'm saying I think it's even worse, personally. My brother did make a point that if he's got a tenner, he'll give me another tenner or something. I said, oh, that's up to you. I said, normally I'll just say no flat out, but my situation is just terrible, right? I knew he wouldn't give me it because I thought, to be honest, once you're out of sight, it's out of mind. That's what people do on purpose. So I spoke to my mum on the phone later, and she said, oh, he's worried about you. I said, what made you say that? She said, oh, he just said on the phone that he's worried about you, like you're struggling and stuff. And if he's got it, he'll send you some money or something. I said, he won't send me money. I said, they never do. I said, it's not, it don't matter. I said, they won't know. I said, because once you're out of their mind, once you're out of sight, they just pretend that doesn't exist until they need me again. And so, lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. And then I did a video recently where I said about my nephew all of a sudden got a gaming laptop, which was just after this event. Funny enough, he suggested that day that I swapped my gaming laptop for his computer. They're similar spec, but I've been wanting to build my new computer a bit more powerful. It allows me a bit more versatility with my stuff. I don't need the portability. He needs portability when he travels to his mum's and all sorts of stuff. And I took time to think about it that day, and then I was like, well, if you're interested, I'll consider it. And I was trying to find out specs, and then he's the one that started differing, and I don't like that because I was only taking time because it's new information. He must have planned the conversation. So I said, if you're not sure, just do what you will, just keep it. Anyway, later on, he's then bought himself a laptop, and then randomly, my brother's like, he's saying, can he come to yours so you can fix his laptop and he'll stay the night? Normally, I'm just instantly like, yeah, of course you can. That's what I'm like. Instead, I just hesitated and thought, well, first of all, he's the one that suggested we swap the laptop for his computer. Last time we spoke, it was he's the one that actually said, he hasn't said he ain't swapping, he just wants some time to think about it. Like, this is what I'm saying. They just lie to your face. Like, I don't care. Just tell me you don't want to do it. But you left me on, like, wondering, is this still happening? Like, is he still interested? So from that, it's just a bit of deception there. I don't like that. That's really a bad taste in my mouth. But then I thought about it, and I thought, well, to be honest, when does anyone ever really help me? Like, I've just helped everybody else. And I'm sure he's expecting me to meet him at the train station at the bare minimum. Who said I was going out to a train station? And I just thought, usually when things go wrong on a computer, even as smart as you can be, there's always there's going to be so much diagnosing it. Like if it doesn't work the first time, you're going to be. I didn't plan to do this shit all evening. It's bad enough when I have to diagnose and fix my own crap, let alone fix someone else's. And I just thought they watched me suffer, like comfortably watched me suffer. Didn't do anything. Now all of a sudden they need my help. I'm their savior. Oh, funny how that works. So straight away, I thought about it in my mind. I thought, well, I was going to watch my TV show that I like watching. I'm minding my own business over here. I know people might think it's petty. It's not. It's holding people accountable. I'm not wasting any more minutes on people who have disrespected me and had no value to my life. So although I could have fixed their computer, and I'm no doubt about it, there's no value of my time. There's no way. Who cares about what you go through? As long as they get what they want, they'll go back and continue what they're doing. They won't even appreciate the fact you helped them. It's just a given. So I just said, no, I'm not doing it. I didn't plan to ruin my evening. That's not my problem. He's going to have to learn to fix it for himself, because I think that's the thing. I think people should be more self-sufficient. Just because I can doesn't mean I should. But anyway, there's a whole other load of things in the past and things, But ultimately, people have just been comfortable watching me struggle. And one of the biggest examples of that, and it's something that will never ever sway me. So even if these little moments get forgotten over time, and people wonder why you blocked them, or wonder why you don't talk to them anymore, you moved on, or there's this distance. I'll forget those things, because in some ways they're slightly trivial, but they are a culmination of, for me, the most obvious example, and it's something I can't ever forget. Each of these books was written annually, so every year a book came. So 2019, A Father's Daughter; 2020, A Heartbroken Daughter; 21, Lose Your Mind to Find Your Soul; 22, Heal Your Mind to Free Your Soul; 23, Inspire Your Mind to Enlighten Your Soul; 24, Find Your Peace to Save Your Soul. Every year. Usually it was difficult to do in terms of my circumstances, just like it is now. And you'd think the people who, even if it doesn't reach a wide audience, you think the bare minimum is your family would support you with that. They would buy the books at the least, but what would be nice is if they actually promoted them too. So spoke about it, be encouraging, try and help me get some sales and get some momentum. Like I said, only my mum and her friend bought my books. And they're a bit older. They're not really into all the social media stuff. They were never going to promote them. I don't even expect it of them. I don't expect anything of anyone, to be honest. But to me, they've gone above and beyond. But other people haven't even bothered. And these are people that have bought, they're more than capable. But to them, £10, £15, just like, to that, it's not worth. Do you know what I mean? They won't even invest in you to that. I bought someone a bloody iPod with no expectation in return. I didn't even want anything in return. £129, no hesitation, boom. And people won't even invest £15 in me. And when I'm walking around a shop and I'm really struggling, I don't struggle all the time, but in this period I am. I get it. It's fine. In a month or so, my life could be completely different. But don't come running back and expecting me to start kissing your ass when you've freaking done nothing for me. So, yeah. That's the part where I will always hold people accountable with my books. If they buy them now, I don't care. Because for me, I don't respect that. When people finally see you snap and then they start investing, just trying to get back in your good grace, no. I like it when people do selfless acts. I like it when they do stuff when they don't expect anything in return. When they were just doing it because they're kind, because it shows me your moral compass. If you do it because you're now trying to buy your way into my life, that doesn't work with me. At that point, don't buy my books. If you're doing it for any other reason than you want to read it yourself, or maybe you genuinely think, I want to see him do well, but you better be comfortable seeing me do well without being in my life, though. So don't think it's like a token to get in my life. That doesn't work. So for me, that's the biggest thing. I have quite a large family. How the hell can none of them buy any of my books? They're absolutely comfortable watching me struggle. Now, put it in context, some of them are just benefits for life people. And there is a bitterness there. I'll admit that. I'm not a jealous person, but there's a little bit of a bitterness. There's a bit of spite there in me for that. Because I'm struggling sometimes, and sometimes I'm on benefits. And I don't hide from those things, I don't have shame in that sense. I say that a lot. People get shamed for needing support from the state, but for some of us, we've paid taxes, we've paid national insurance, we've paid towards the cost of living and stuff. We've contributed to society at various stages. So this isn't a case of you've never paid your taxes, you've never paid this, and you're just a leech on your drain. No, You need it when you're pivoting. You want to change your life. You're going through a change. You need support. The support's there. That's what it's built for. Some people that literally just there to take, 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 take. And this is where I get fed up. I'm not going to go too deep into people's personal things and the benefits they get because I think that'd be a bit not fair. It's private. But effectively, my nephew and my brother are claiming benefits, and I'm claiming some at the moment. Like it's very little at the moment, and that's why it's hard. I get no support. I get the very minimum, and I get deducted from my daughter's bedroom. And I've argued like shit about this because she doesn't live with me. They consider the home too big from what I need, but yet she comes to me on holidays. So what the hell am I supposed to do? But they're very like it's all politics. It's shit. But anyway, so you don't get enough, and they already deduct that, and it's like this is just shameful, absolutely shameful. It's not fit for purpose, but no one does anything about it. Again, there's only one income, there's only one me. Now, I have no doubt my situation would change. So I'm not a lazy individual. That's people can think what they want, but I'm not a lazy individual. I'm always accountable. I've been doing my books for years. I'm more than comfortable walking into situations if something comes up that actually is suitable. That's fine. By extension, these people do nothing. They've got no ambitions. They're just like stagnating through life. And I'm looking, thinking, your life is not going to amount into anything. Literally, there's no goal. There's no drive. There's no passion. There's no anything. And I think that's just sad. So when you put it into perspective like that, and this is where the bitterness comes, there is a resentment. And I'm not going to lie that there is a resentment there. Why is my life so hard and I work so hard? I go above and beyond, I do, you just say, I do countless videos every day on YouTube. It could be any video. It ranges from me being, talk about serious topics to trying to inspire people. And it could just be gaming content. And I do that to open people's eyes to other entertainment and other things, maybe things they're missing. And it's just sharing parts of me, But I'm accountable. The books exist. And I feel personally, I deserve to be rewarded for the work I did for 6 years. Well, there's 6 books. So, I'm doing the actual maths of work. But anyway, there's 6 years of work I never got paid for. This was literally 6 years of hard graft that I'm still waiting to be rewarded for. So people might look at your daily life now and think, well, you're not working hard enough. I worked hard enough then. I've lost a fortune writing them books because how hard my life was then to write them books. Then I've done the audio books and I still do my videos today. And yet I have people in my life who have actually done absolutely nothing. And they continue to do nothing. And yet they have more money than me. I know money isn't everything, but it's like a bit weird how I'm struggling every day. I push myself all the time. And you've got people who have given up on any potential. And they get vast amounts of benefits that the only reason they struggle is they overspend and overexert themselves because they're trying to fill gaps in their life with things that they don't need, just to give them some sort of like sensation of something happy. That's what it is. It's so superficial and pointless. But that's literally what that is. And they don't offer help or assistance at all, even though they're far more comfortable than I am. And yet here I am struggling. And I've worked my arse off for years. So when I think about fairness, where's the justice in this? I've never asked for more than I deserve. I'm not a greedy person. I feel I deserve to be rewarded for what I've done. And it hasn't been fair. All I want is what's fair. Like what I deserve. And I think I deserve a lot for what I've done, But anyway. So there is like an accountability on that side as well, And so, like I said, there is a level of resentment to a degree. Not like crazy resentment. I don't sort of like eat me up every day. It's just an accountability, really, of the fact that, I work my arse off. It's a moral thing to me. It shows your character. Like, I don't give up. I still persevere. Still continue doing what I'm doing, even if I haven't seen the success yet. Because there's like a fire in me that burns because I want to contribute something. I'm investing in myself, but I'm also trying to inspire and help other people. And yeah, I've got people in my life who literally are amounting to absolutely nothing, which I think is really sad and a waste of potential. And they get given handouts, literally for free. And they're in positions where they could actually do some good. You can help, not just me, but you can do good. Like I've made little donations, not a lot, but I've done some donations where I can if I see a cause, even though I haven't got a lot. And I've done that from time to time. Some people will know of it personally that I've done it for them. Others, it might be like in the shadows. Not like huge, vast mums. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to go into deeper with it either. Because I think some things are just personal. But then there's some people who literally just got no compassion for anyone else, you know? So this isn't a case of, oh, someone should be my saving grace. It's like just, at least so you give a shit. That's my point. It's not a case of I expect people just to throw money at me. That's not what I'm asking. That's not what I'm saying. At the very minimum, at least show you care. And it's like, that's what I'm saying. People don't do that with me. I honestly feel like the average person, I think, is happy to sabotage any success I have because they don't want to see me do well. That's what I think. I think it makes them more comfortable to see me struggling. It normalizes things to them. And I think if I'm successful in any way, I think that would shatter their illusion of what they consider success in their life. So it's easy to try to keep me small. But I'm not going to be small forever. And like I said, life changes. So like I could be a job opportunity could open up. It doesn't even have to be in the career that I want or expect. You know, it could be anything. It could just be anything normal, but it's not a toxic environment. It's like you can just go there, do the job. I'm more than willing to do that. I'm not above any of this. I'm just sick and tired of toxic work conditions and places. You know, and stupid work hours and all that crap. You just want something normal. You know, it's local enough you can get there. It's not a huge burden. It's like the hours are fine. It pays just reasonable. It pays your bills. You've still got some spare money. Things like that. That's fine with me. I'm not above all that. So what I'm saying is, over the next, you don't know, it could be any day or any moment of the week, but there'll be a day when things turn. Doesn't have to be hugely, but anything's better than nothing. You know, in terms of my finances, anything could turn around. All of a sudden, I'm doing better than before. And then maybe people start seeing your value, but you didn't see my value before, though. And it's like, now I don't, it's like, I'm fine. If I've got out of the depths of hell and I lift myself out of it and then I start thriving to a degree, not saying like really, really thriving, but thriving enough that you're no longer in survival mode. And you've done that for yourself, then what the hell do I need any other people for? You know, I'll pull myself out, mate. But it's like, who was there when I could have done with some support? And who wasn't? So I'm more than willing to drop people. So like literally this morning, on my phone, I blocked my brother and I blocked my nephew. So they can't even reach me if they want to. At this point in my life, the only ones that could truly reach me without immense amount of hassle is my mum and my daughter. That's it, all I have. And I'm more than happy to have just them because I cherish them. My daughter phones me no matter what I'm doing, even if I got something planned, and it can be really inconvenient, as the weekend it was. And randomly, phone just rings. You go, God damn, what's that? And it's her. It's like, oh, I have mine on do not disturb, but her phone, she always gets through somehow. It always rings, and it's like, and we talk, and it could be hours, and it might disrupt my whole plans. But I always have time for her. You know, and it's not like we don't have fun. And the same with my mum. If I miss a call, I'll phone straight back or text straight back. So right people in my life get my undivided attention, and we'll talk for hours. Like literally yesterday, I was talking to my mum on the phone, and we was on the phone for an hour. Normally we are. It's not like we just have little short conversations. It goes on. There's banter. It's funny. It's sometimes serious. But these are the people I genuinely trust, and I've always said that I'm not looking for a big circle. I'm looking for a small circle of people I genuinely trust. And they will always have my undivided attention, and I'll go the extra mile for them. But it's those who I think have taken me for granted that I snap judgment on them. And like I say, some people might not like that, and they might think, oh, you should have the moral high ground. It's not for any of us to be abused. It's not for any of us to be taken advantage of. And I think it's about time people like add a backbone. Just because someone's family doesn't give them permission to sort of like just rule your life. If I don't set these examples, for instance, or I don't do this, I'll have these people bothering me all my whole life, never being accountable for their lack of effort towards my life, and always expecting me to be their savior in any circumstance. The weight of their life is not my problem. My life is my problem. So it's about people being accountable for their own. So people can put it down for whatever they want, but it's no never mind to me. When I make decisions, it's rarely do I ever go back on it. Doesn't matter if people like seek forgiveness or think that's for them to deal with in their life. When the door's closed, it's closed. There's no reason for me to reopen it when people have shown me time and time again. Because that's what I'm saying. It's a sequence of events, not just one moment. So the character has been witnessed for over a period of time. Now I say, hopefully people heal and they evolve and they improve. But it's like, just don't focus on me. That's the thing. Maybe people put you on a pedestal at some point in life. Maybe they think too much. Maybe this. It's like, no. Focus on your own life. You don't need everyone in it. Focus on you. Uplift yourself. Be your success story. It's not supposed to be in spite of someone else. But it's that investment of yourself for your own reasons. So let's say my nephew goes off and he changes his ways and he gets a bit more on a better path. And maybe he thinks, you know what, can we just talk? It's like, we don't really need to, though. Like, you get on with your life. If people are too busy, I personally think, trying to impress other people or trying to justify to others their significance. And it's like, it's just so pointless. It's like, just focus on your own life. So if people don't value you, it's not about doing anything in spite, but it's value yourself enough that you keep moving forward and you build your own community. So in this sense, maybe at some point, they don't get my attention. They feel I don't value them. Well, I don't value the way I've been treated, and I'm not really looking for do-overs. Life's too short. I'm not going to keep dismissing my potential. I'm not going to keep taking steps back for others to finally catch up, only for them to slow down again, and then we constantly back and forth. I've got no time for it. So it's like, I hope you heal, but you don't heal fast enough. And it's just the way it is. Because of the speed at which I evolve, if you're not on a similar path at any stage, it's very unlikely you're ever going to catch up. And it's just, I just don't have time to wait for people to finally heal and be the best example of themselves. And that's what it is. But again, it's not about impressing me. It's like, do with your life what you will. It's your choice. You've got all the time. You've got all the time in the world up to a point. Because like we all do. It's like, make the most of it. Don't make the most of it. That's a choice. But it's not about like wanting my reaction to things. It's just be accountable for your own life. And I think that's the thing as well, where people just attach themselves so much to other people, and it's like, really, it's like it's your journey though. So if someone doesn't believe in you or they have a different opinion of something, it's like, that's interesting, because it doesn't make much difference though to the outcome if you're invested in you. So let's say you've got a family member, for instance, and you're in love with someone, and they don't agree with it. It's like, what difference does that make? They don't get to decide. So I've always thought that was quite interesting. Whether you have someone's blessing or not, it shouldn't dictate the relationship. It might dictate whether that person who is judging your life has a future role in it, whether it's a parent or anybody. Because it's all right. They can have an opinion. They might feel a bit nervous about something, or maybe they don't quite agree, but they support you anyway. I mean, that's love. There's nothing wrong with being open and honest about it and saying, maybe I think you're missing some signs here. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what I think. But if you genuinely love them and this is the path you're going down, then of course I'll support it. But there's nothing wrong with things like that. But if you try saying, I'm going to disown someone because you're in this situation, I think, disown me. So really, what I want to do is empower people and just show them that you are the king of your life. You are the star. We all are. All the stars of each of our lives, and it's not for us to dim our stars to allow other people to take advantage of us. It's like, no. My star's going to shine bright. And if it seems to me that everybody around me is just intent on dimming it, well, don't worry. If you actually look, stars can shine bright on their own. Sometimes they're surrounded by other stars, but you might see a rogue star on its own. So it's about just shine bright. Anyway. It's probably more I could touch on, but I just wanted to really put that into perspective, really, is the fact that we are accountable for our life, which means it's really important that we do, I think, judge where it's appropriate, to be totally honest, because you can go through life thinking it's not right to judge people and all that nonsense. It's like, well, to it within reason. People do things from any reason, and it could be some flaw they have, something that needs healing. There's all sorts. I think you can't judge people too harshly in that sense, in the fact that everybody's gone through something we heal and process differently. So I think, if you overjudge someone you wouldn't even know their background, their story, how they analyze, how they process. There's too many variables to sort of just say everybody's cruel and evil. But what we can do is judge people based on their influence on our life and the impact it's having. And then it's up to us to discern who we want in our life, literally. And it's like we don't. There's this loyalty thing that people hold by, and it's like a lot of time it just doesn't serve a purpose. It might validate a reason for this and that to keep people in your life, and it might make other people feel comfortable, but it doesn't necessarily do you justice. So it doesn't. For me, that loyalty only goes as far as the efforts that people put into my life. So I just mirror it back. That's all it is. If someone's respectful and decent in my life, then I'm respectful and decent towards them. Providing our personalities match, I'm not just going to be like aligned with anybody just because they're a bit kind in this moment. If we don't have anything in common, I'm not an idiot that just keeps people around just because you might be nice. It's like we've all got our own life to live, But ultimately, it's the way people treat you as a reflection back, isn't it? So if at the end of the day, if people are not going to invest in me, then don't expect me to invest in you. And I don't feel bad about it. That's the difference, and that's where I've grown, because in the past I did feel bad. I always saw vulnerabilities in people and felt like, you know what, they'll change one day. But that one day just never came. And how long do you give it? And like I said, when I'm noticing the selfishness in people, it just bothers me a lot. Like my brother making the point, for me, that bothered me more than him not even noticing. The fact that he noticed that I'm struggling and he has the means to do something about it if he chose to. But instead, he would, rather than help me, which is fair, because I know the lifestyle, it's fair. But don't come bothering me. It's okay. I could be really struggling in poverty in a moment. But don't worry, because they'll get themselves takeaways. They'll get themselves vapes and all that stuff. They'll buy loads of energy drinks. They'll buy all the stuff that's wasteful. Again, that's their lifestyle. They're not. They don't have to. They're not here to sort of like support me. But it's an indication of how much they respect me and whether they care. Because if shoe was on the other foot, you can guarantee your ass. If I had indulgences, I would pause an indulgence to help in that moment. Now, you can't help all the time forever because that's just ridiculous. But in periods, yeah, I would stop doing that. Yeah, there was an incident on holiday. I'm not going to go too deep with it, where I had enough money. It was a decent paying job I had. I was on holiday, family. When I say family, my mum and a couple of other people. And I was going to hire a convertible car. I really wanted that. I thought that'd be cool. I haven't been on holiday for years, and I was like, "Oh, we're on holiday. I've got a driving license. Let's just get a convertible. I'll hire that for a day or two. A couple of days. I can't remember how long I was going to hire it for. I think it's about €300, £300. I can't remember now, but that's quite an extravagance for a short period of time. But I really wanted it. And I knew someone was struggling that I should have helped. Like, we all make mistakes. I should have helped before. Like, we lost contact, but I still felt it niggled at me. That they're probably struggling, and I should have helped because it bothered me for a while. But because we lost contact, it was never like appropriate, really. But I felt real guilt at that moment. So, and they're in a different country. So I went on holiday and I transferred instead of paying for the car, I transferred the money to the person. I thought that's the right thing to do. The car's an indulgence. Although, of course, it would have been a memory, but I just thought, no. And then later in the holiday, still had some money left. We still had some money spare, and I managed to hire a smaller car. It was still great. We still went on road trips and stuff. But in my heart, I feel like I've done the right thing. I've helped someone, like so random timing. And I've had maybe a slightly diminished experience, but it's still good. And I just think it's a win-win. But I'm not saying that to posture as anything, or I'm just trying to show the differences, And I just think that just shows your moral compass. Some people are just so selfish. I'm just fed up with people taking me for granted and expecting me to be their savior and they were never mine. So yeah, there's times when it wouldn't take much effort from me to fix this situation or deal with that. But again, it's not my situation to deal with. I'll pick and choose the ones I want to help and the timings of it. But sometimes I think people are going to have to just learn the lesson themselves, especially the hard way. When you haven't supported people, you're going to have to be humbled somehow. You have to realize that, you know what, you can't just keep expecting everyone to be there for you when you're never there for them. So if you don't figure that out, that's up to you. So on the face of it, they'd have to learn to do something for themselves, which maybe they're not comfortable with. They'll also have to process the fact, and maybe they don't even realize, because they never took accountability, that they've rarely been there for others, or they've prioritized other people over other people. Again, something to learn, but it's something they're going to have to figure out for themselves because we're not always going to just paint people the full picture. You know, when you walk out of someone's life or you decide to do this and do that, they may not get the closure they need to a situation, and it's not for you to provide it. They got to just come to peace with whatever, and it's up to them to piece the puzzle together and perhaps realize or not why something happened. I always say that. Even in like an end of a relationship, let's say someone leaves and they don't explain why they left, they just left. And then you've got to put the pieces together, and you're going to feel quite vulnerable in yourself, and you might feel like you're not good enough, you're the problem, because what you're doing, you're working through the incidents and how things could have played out, and like potential reasons for this and that. And ultimately, it's for you. You're not going to get the answers from the person, so you've got to figure it for yourself. And then when it comes down to it, it's like you'll figure out the things you did wrong, but you also figure out the things they did wrong. And it may very well be that they're just a flaky individual who always runs. It might not be that. It might be that you wasn't very kind in a relationship and you better heal it quick because otherwise you're going to take it into the next one. But effectively, you're never going to find answers anyway from the person who left, because even if you sought answers, they probably lied to you anyway. So how do you know they're telling you the truth? The only truth lies within ourselves, doesn't it? So when a relationship ends, whether it's abrupt or not, what the other person explains to you isn't really going to hold much weight because you don't know how honest they're being about it. It's really going to be from processing our own, the own trauma, isn't it? And it's being honest. So we are just as accountable. Anyway, hope this provides some perspective. Like I say, my community is getting smaller and smaller, but that's just less baggage. It's just less baggage. You can just keep moving forward for more fun. But anyway, yeah. So I just think if I could do that, I think that in that sense, if a stranger thinks they're ever going to come into my life, take advantage of me in any way because they see an opportunity, I just want that to be clear, because I've never ever promised anything I wouldn't give. But I am I think it's quite clear here. If I respect someone enough, I'll go above and beyond. But if anyone crosses me or tests me, I am quite ruthless. So I do make that clear. So yeah. But again, usually it's over time. But then I'm thinking overtime's really for family. I don't think strangers get that much time.